Hey everyone, in today's video, I'll be working on the intersecting wall between the kitchen and the living room. After removing the old framing and furnace that used to sit in this spot, I noticed the structural integrity of the framing felt a little bit compromised. To fix that, I brought in some new 2x4s to structurally reinforce this area. The last thing I ended up doing on this day was removing the adjacent stud to the kitchen doorway. For the project I had planned, this entire doorway section will have to be redone, but not today. It's day 15, doorway framing reconstruction day. First thing I'll be doing is removing some drywall on this doorway section so I can remove the studs that create this original opening. As I remove the sheetrock above the doorway, you can see the exposed studs. As I'm looking at the original framework, I still don't believe the top side of the doorway was done correctly. At bare minimum, the horizontal 2x4 that I'm cutting should be supported by a few jack studs. Well, let's hope whatever I'm doing will be a significant improvement from what it was. I had a framer come in and give me his opinion if the wall was load bearing or not. He told me it wasn't, but I still took extra precaution and made this entry with the header and jack studs, just for reassurance. Also, since you have already seen the thumbnail on this video, you already know that I don't plan on placing an actual door on this opening. What I'm placing here is what they call the king stud, which is directly connected to the top plate and bottom plate. I used a random 2x4 block that I found to create the spacing where I'll be placing the first jack stud. And before placing it in front, I made sure the king stud was at a true 90. This here is the second jack stud. Between the top plate and the jack studs will be the header board. I place this here in hopes that it will maintain structural integrity and possibly distribute weight from above to prevent the ceiling frame from sagging. Over on this side, you'll be seeing an exact duplicate of the right side, except mirrored. I'm cutting the bottom plate back to maintain the same rough opening this doorway was originally. Here's the first header going in. Basically, it's a few 2x8 boards cut down to fit snug between the jack studs and the top plate. And over here, I'm hammering in the second header board.
This is what I'm going to be using to make the arch doorways. I made this at home using a jigsaw and a router. I basically just cut out a big cardboard circle, ran the line around the circle, have a perfect 90 on the edge, and then routed everything out to get multiple.
So, to install these arches, I'm using my 18 gauge finishing nail to hold the arches and inner blocks together. Remember, this is just a skeleton of the framing. Everything will eventually be covered with drywall. I measured the distance between the two arches, and it was roughly 2 1/8 inch. So I went home, grabbed my chop saw, and just cut out a bunch of these. And this is gonna be for the gap all around, just so when I put the drywall up, it has something to screw to. Here, you have the king stud that holds the stud from the top plate to the bottom plate. Then you have the jack studs that holds from the bottom plate to the header. And it's the same on both sides. Here are the little blocks that I cut for the arc. I'm opening up this portion to relocate the outlet. It made more sense to me to have it in the middle of the wall instead of on the edge of the doorway. That was a close one. Good thing I didn't let go. With all that out of the way, we can continue with my favorite part, demolition. Why? Because most of the time it doesn't require thinking, it just requires doing. Sometimes you just need a mental break and just grind away at the task at hand. Personally, I typically overanalyze things in situations, when oftentimes I should just let things play out and not carry too much burden, like trying to make things perfect or wondering if I miscalculated something. If you are still here, please consider subscribing. It will help me stay motivated and to keep me recording my progress. If you have time for a deep dive, here's a playlist of my Project House series. Thank you for watching.